First, we brought you China, the original peg warmers. Then we gave you Thailand, which is basically the same thing. But now introducing the XRS Mud Racers. They have built-in suspension. Their tires are full of treads, and they're all muddied up, ready to race. You have McQueen, Cruz, Cal, Jackson, Barry, Mater, Miss Fritter, RV, and so much more. So head over to your local retail store and find these guys swarming your pegs all over the nation like you guys always wanted it to. And remember our motto, it ain't whack to be crap. So buy more peg warmers today. Hey guys, what is up? This is LittleHarky here, back again with another Cast review, and this time I'm going to be reviewing the first ever wave of the XRS Mud Racing line. Of course, this will be consisting of both the single and the deluxe XRS Mud Racing releases, because technically all of them are a part of Wave 1, whether they are a single or a deluxe. These guys were available on Amazon towards the end of September 2018, I believe. I'm not quite sure because that was around the time when I, of course, started my break from YouTube. Weirdly enough, they were made available on Amazon before they hit store shelves, so they went out like this. Pretty surprising, right? The singles released in Wave 1 consisted of course, the three main characters of Cars 3, Lightning McQueen, Cruz Ramirez in her Dinoco paint job, and then Jackson Storm. But then we also got Cal Weathers and, of course, the necessary next gen that's kind of odd and out of place, Barry the Pedal. Then, as a part of the deluxes, we had Mater, Miss Fritter, and RV. No Dr. Damage, though, unfortunately. I feel like this series is heavily inspired by, well, One Thunder Hollow, but more specifically, that little frame during the end credits of Cars 3 where Mater was getting chased by Miss Fritter. I think the heads of Mattel were like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Why don't we market this to kids? And so they did by making spin-off monster truck versions of our favorite characters. You know what? It could have been worse. But hey, I'm not one to judge, so let's get on to the review, starting off with the buddies from Radiator Springs, Lightning McQueen and Mater right here. Alright, here's a better angle to review from, but anyways, we have the XRS Lightning McQueen and Mater right here. So let's start off with the protagonist of the whole Cars franchise, Lightning McQueen. So move over, Mater. Here we have the China Cars 3 McQueen as well as the Thailand one. And yeah, so let's get on to the review, starting off with the hood. To make the video a bit more concise, I'm going to be comparing the XRS versions to the original counterparts. So basically, for example, I'm going to be comparing the XRS Lightning McQueen to the Cars 3 Lightning McQueen made in China. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the Thailand variant in a bit. But let's start off right here. As you can see, the hoods are completely different, with the new hood showing off the XRS logo right there with the big black splotch and then some tire marks, the number 95 right under it. Unlike the original, which just has the Rusty's logo. The expressions on the two cars are completely different, with the XRS version having a brand new eye decal for McQueen, and then a wider grin than the Cars 3 Lightning McQueen. These sides are completely different on the two cars, with the original having a lightning bolt with a flame on it. This one has a big XRS logo plastered onto it, with a nice yellow streak that does wrap around the entire body. The contingency sponsors are the same, except for the fact that now the piston cup is nowhere to be seen on the side of McQueen, as you can see. Before there was, and now there isn't, because of course, this is now sponsored by the Piston Cup. His tires are completely filled with mud, but he does keep the red rim. There are also some new features on his sides, with a little barrier and some treads on his fenders. As for the back, all of the Rusty sponsoring has been completely wiped out, although the bumper seems to be sticking out a bit more than the Cars 3 China version. So overall, not too bad. Let me just compare him to the Thailand version. Basically the same things noted, except for the expressions being a little bit similar. But besides that, honestly, the XRS cars are pretty unique. As for the fact that they completely change how the original car looks like. So now let's get on to Mater. So let me just bring him on in. And of course, you can't have Mater without his original counterpart. So let's get on to his review. His engine has a little matte finish to it, which is kind of weird, but compared to the original, it's way better than just a piece of plastic. And his expression is way, way better. He seems very, very excited to be racing alongside his best buddy. Very odd now that the roof has grown a bit on the XRS Mater, but that's probably because he is most likely a new model. And then on the side right here, XRS, a couple full of barriers and a little bit of treads, or I guess metal pieces, I guess. They don't really look like treads like on the original McQueen. I'm going to call them like metal fenders, I guess. But yeah, they have the new equipment on him, whereas the original is just, you know, just a regular tow truck. He does have some very big monster truck-like tires compared to the original. And as you can see, they still preserve the rim coloring. So on this side, there is a yellow rim. And on this side, there is a gray rim, or a silver, or whatever you want to call it. Then the back is very, very brown, instead of being kind of like a mix of brown and orange, which is weird, and honestly, I don't really like it, even though it's more accurate, but ironically. But, I mean, that's really it for Mater. Not really too much to say here. His toe hook, I believe, is the same, although he definitely did grow a few inches. And now comparing them to the Thailand release, they don't really look too similar either, with the Thailand Mater being a bit more of a lighter brown than the original dark brown. As you can see, he kind of looks more like the Precision Series Mater in my opinion, but that is the Mater and the McQueen. So now let's get on to the two Dinoco buddies, Cal and Cruz. Here are the two Dinoco buddies, Cruz Ramirez and Cal Weathers, and might as well stop rambling right now and get on to the review. So let me just push away Cal right here and start with the current next generation Dinoco racer. And now let's get on to the review. So here we have on the hood the XRS logo in a blue for the X, and then number 51 under the XRS logo. Her expression did change a bit because of the fact that now in her XRS version, she's looking upwards and towards her right. And then her grin looks relatively the same, although I'm willing to bet that the XRS version has a bigger smile. Her side is very, very similar to McQueen's, whereas the Dinoco sponsors have been completely wiped out in favor for the XRS logo right here. Although, unlike McQueen, she does not have her continuity sponsors, not even on her bottom side right here, like on her regular release. Mattel also removed her metallic rims, which is odd, but it kind of makes sense since she is, of course, in the Thunder Hollow Demolition Derby, and getting her tires muddy with metallic rims would kind of be odd. She also does sport the same equipment as McQueen with the protection at her fenders, and then a blue barrier rather than a red because, of course, her main color is yellow and blue. The top has a bunch of her decals stripped off with the 51 and Dinoco logos being taken down. Although on the back, they preserved the Dinoco logo and the 51, which they made a bit shorter on the XRS version, but they did not make them metallic, and then the little taillights right here as well. I believe they're the same, but basically, that's it. And then comparing her to the original, or I guess the Thailand one, they basically have the same differences and similarities as the original China version. There isn't really too much different with the Thailand and the China Cruz because of the fact that the only difference, or main difference, is the eye plate. But anyways, now let's move on to Cal Weathers. So move aside Cruz, and now here we have Cal, very hyped up to be in the XRS line, of course. So here we have his hood right here with the little XRS logo, and then number 42 under it. Wow, his determined expression definitely outweighs the original expression on Cal Weathers. Look at that. They look completely different. I mean, the XRS version has his mouth open, his like determined eyes right there. And they look really, really nice. And actually, I did notice another difference right here. Number 42 under his right headlight, and now it is gone on the XRS version. So yeah, little subtle things, but still, they make a big difference in the end. Again, the same thing. The whole Dinoco design on the side has been completely wiped out for the XRS logo. And then here we have the little protection on the side with the barrier and the treaded fenders. And of course, the continuity sponsors are different because the piston cup is no longer on the side of Cal Weathers. And then his rims look the same, relatively the same, although his Lightyear tires have been completely wiped out in mud. And I just noticed this, but mine says Hank Weathers, which is odd, because Hank Weathers was the prototype name for Cal, which eventually got changed and fixed for the upcoming releases of Cal, which, it's weird that they reverted back to this original name. But anyways, moving on to the top right here, the 42 and the Dinoco logo have been preserved, which is really nice, although they seem a bit bigger from the original version. And then the back is the same from the original, but that is basically it for Cal. And actually, I believe his model is a bit different from the China Cal because he looks a bit more, I guess, skinnier and I guess longer, which actually matches with the model from the Thailand Cal. Let me just show you right there. Very long. Let me just zoom out a bit. There we go. A little bit longer. But then compared with the China Cal, it doesn't really reach as much. Although, I don't know. it's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys see it, but I just think that the XRS cow is a bit longer, just like the Thailand cow, which is actually different from the original cow. Let me know if I should make like a little Thailand versus China video. I don't know. Sorry, Physical Productions, but yeah, don't worry, we're cool. Anyways, that is it for the Dinoco buddies. Here we have them all together, and now let's get on to the next gens. Here we have the next gen pair of XRS racers, Jackson Storm and Barry the Pedal, the, I guess, kind of new or re-release of the original. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, here we have the two next gens, and let's just get on into it with Jackson Storm, of course, one of the main villains of Cars, or not one of the main villains, the main villain of Cars 3. Again, XRS logo, and then 2.0 right there under the XRS logo, and his expression is very, very angry. You know, he's just so furious at McQueen for, you know, not beating him because he didn't beat him, but, moving on. But compared to the original counterpart, you can say he is definitely very angry and frustrated, whereas here he was very determined. As you can see, he does have his mouth closed, and you know, his eyes don't really show a determined look. They show more of a frustrated look. And then the Igniter logo is, of course, wiped off. Now, here's the weird thing about the side. Sure, he does have the same things as McQueen, Cruz, Cal, etc., but his contingency sponsor still has the piston cup on it, which every other car doesn't. I don't think that the Barry has it, does he? Let me just check. No, he does not. Literally, Jackson is the only one who has this on him, which is odd. And instead of getting rid of the Piston Cup logo, they got rid of the 2.0 on his side, which still is weird. But anyways, all of the Igniter stuff is taken away by the XRS logo. And then here on the side are his like little equipment right here with the protection at his fenders, and then the barrier at his side. And then his next-gen tires and rims are just completely covered in mud, of course. The 2.0 and the Igniter logo on the top right here have remained intact. However, the rookie stripes have been completely wiped off, of course, because this is post-Cars 3. So basically, Jackson would have his rookie stripes off by now. But yeah, they still kept the 2.0 and Igniter. And like Cruz, the Thailand Jackson Storm is basically the same as the original, so there's really no need for comparison here. But overall, I really like this version of Jackson Storm because it shows how aggressive he really can be. And actually, I don't really know if they got rid of the rookie stripes on Cruz. Let me just check right here. Yeah, they did. I didn't notice that. Sorry about that, but yeah, they did get rid of it for Cruz. So now let's get on to Barry, and can the camera focus? There we go. But anyways, now let's get on to Barry. Move out Jackson Storm. And here we have Barry, the China version. Unfortunately, I do not have the Thailand version at the moment, but let's just get on to Barry's review. So here we have the XRS logo, and he's actually the only car to not have the number on the bottom right here, but he does still have the RPM design that is on his hood of the original. As you can see, the little orange, I guess, I don't know, hood outline. And this is the second time I really like the XRS expressions because we never really got a next gen who is not just, undetermined. But, I mean, look, he looks very, very happy and just having a bunch of fun right here. He looks kind of like Cal, although Cal, you can never really be. I mean, he just looks so nice. But, I mean, he just comes really close. But anyways, here are his headlights and vents. Same as the originals, as you can see. And then the eyes, I believe the eyes are the same, which probably is why he looks really good. But here's something to note. The paint jobs of the two Barrys look very different in comparison. I mean, the original looks way more purple, but then the new one looks way, way blue. I mean, definitely a lot more blue than the original. Kind of like the whole Danny Swervis incident that happened back in 2017. But besides that, I mean, he looks pretty nice. And then the rims actually got changed. I believe they are the same as Cruz. I'm not sure. Let me just take a quick look. Yep, they're the same as Cruz, of course. Lazy Mattel, but yeah, same as Cruz, so that's why they're not as accurate. And then on the side, same equipment, you know, the treaded fenders, and then the barrier on the side. And actually, this is really, really weird. He does not have his contingency sponsors that any next gen would have, like Carbon, Cyber, Combustor, and Synergy. He has the stock car sponsors, Octane Gain, RPM, Revolting Clutch Aid. Here is the XRS logo plastered on it, and you can see a bit of the original paint job of Barry right there with the orange and purple stripes going along his side. The 64 and RPM logo have remained the same, and then the back has the rookie stripes removed, but the rest of the decals are the exact same. So, unfortunately, I do not have the Thailand version, which is actually very different from the China version, which sucks. But I mean, he looks pretty nice. I like his expression, although I really can't forgive Mattel for the laziness with the rims and the sponsor. I don't know. I mean, Barry is okay. But it's kind of sucky that, you know, he is the 4-pack exclusive originally, and now he's just been degraded to this, you know, off-brand series. He really shouldn't have been included. I think a better inclusion would have been a stock car, but, I mean, you can't have Jackson Storm alone. So, anyways, now let's move on to the Demolition Derby cars. Well, here they are, Mater's buddies from Thunder Hollow, and they are huge! I mean, my original angle had to be changed so that I can fit them in this one shot. But anyways, now let's get on to their review. Starting off with the big bad of Thunder Hollow. Move aside RV. So here we have Miss Fritter, as you can see. Very, very nice. She has the same expression as the original right here, with the additional mouth guard, I guess you can call it. Mouth guard at her bumper. Here's a bit of detail I bet you guys didn't notice. Under her fender, there's a bit of like mechanisms or gears that I guess work her tires, which is really nice. And you can see that on the back side of the tires as well, under her fender. Really nice. And then you can see the stop sign makes a return from the original. Miss Fritter in some blue and white spray paint, I guess, spray can paint. And then, what does it say right there? Parking fine lane. And then XRS logo, which does cover up her collection right here. And then the 58 has been moved to the back. And then some more gear and equipment to like protect her from crashing in a bit too hard. The backs are completely the same from the original. And then on the top, the XRS logo covers up the plainness of the top from the original. And then here's something I noticed. They kept the 58 on the side where it was in the original, which is weird because they should have really moved it back like the one on the left side did. Odd. Very, very odd. But that's basically Miss Fritter for you. She is very, very tall. I mean, she towers over the original. But anyways, let me just move on to RV, who I believe is probably one of the worst XRS releases. And let me explain in the review. Here we have his expression, which is definitely very different. And that's really one of the main reasons I really don't like RV, because of its expression. It doesn't really look like RV in general. I mean, instead of being wide and a bit bulky, he looks a bit tall and kind of formal. It kind of ruins his character, but as you can see, the mouths have actually changed a bit with the coloration of the inside. Nothing really too different besides that, though. Although the eyes, wait, actually no, the eyes have a different position now, which actually also ruins it for me, kind of. His rims are different, definitely different. Instead of being black, now they are green to match his paint job, and then the little 00 on his side has been moved over for the XRS logo, which is very, very big. His back is very different from the original, with the original having the XRS logo kind of wrapping around him to the back, and then the 00 getting removed. And then, of course, the griminess of the back, specifically the bottom right here, being taken away. And then on the side, instead of being on the top, the 00 has been placed under the XRS logo, unlike the side. But, yeah. Oh, and the XRS logo on his vent right there. But besides that, that is really it for the XRS line. Let me just bring in all the other XRS cars right here. Let me bring in McQueen, Mater, and then we got Jackson Storm, Dinoco Cruz, Cal Weathers, Barry DePedal, and all their other friends too. Or I guess that's kind of like a little jingle for the XRS line. But anyways, that's basically it for the XRS line, at least for Wave 1. I will be reviewing Wave 2 and eventually Wave 3 once I get my hands on them, but let me just position them. I can't talk today. But yeah, position them in a little bit of a better manner. I think RV should go in the back right there. But there we go. The XRS cars have finally been done. And that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching and sticking around to the end if you did. My favorite XRS car has to be Cal Weather, just because of his expression. And overall, he's just really nice. I didn't expect him to be so good overall out of these 8 cars. Yeah, 8 cars. And then second would be Miss Fritter, which is actually my favorite deluxe out of the 3. Because of the fact that she has a bunch of detailing on her. Although my least favorite has to go to McQueen. I don't really like the fact that he had that little yellow streak on around him. But that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching yet again. And anyways, guys, stick around when I review the XRS Wave 2 and 3 cars, which Wave 2 is basically just Speedy Comet, but Wave 3 consists of a whole lot of new cars. So stay tuned, and this is LittleHarky saying peace.